Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Aaron with HEX Life Style. So I hope you enjoyed episode number 7, part 1 of my interview with Max, the Vintage Plug. Now, in episode 8, part 2, Max and I go a little bit more in depth. We talk a lot about the bins, sourcing at the bins, and networking at the bins. We talk about the business side of the Vintage Banana, and we talk a little bit about Max's musical career and how he produced music at one time out in California. So grab your drinks, sit back, and enjoy part 2 of my interview with Max, the Vintage Plug.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in.
So talk a little bit about. Let's get back to just real quick to the kind of the thrifting. So you kind of started. You were one of the first people, I think, that really kind of in this market or in this area that pushed the bins. The Goodwill bins.
Oh yeah.
And I've been up to the new one there, I think once. I think I saw you there. But I just feel like it's just unless you're just going to go there just to hang out and see your boys and kind of chill and talk shop. It's sometimes you might find that diamond in the rough, but it's not obviously like if you're wanting to do a big day of sourcing, that's probably not where to go completely. But although I left the one in Louisville, the new one there over the river, I left with quite a bit that day. Well, of course, I was looking for more like industrial type wear, older stuff, military stuff,
right,
things like that. But what's your take on that, man? Because that market, like I travel, I cover 6 states for what I do. So I've been to Colorado, the bins in Colorado some, and they're saturated. Kansas City is not as bad. St. Louis, some of those bins, but it just seems like everybody's flocking to the bins. For you, man, is it a way of sourcing anymore, or is it just kind of to go chill and hang out?
Oh, it's definitely a way of sourcing. I mean, if you sit there long enough, you're going to leave with a cart full of shit. Some days are worse than others, but, it's just like thrifting anywhere else. If you're consistent, you're going to get some stuff. I mean, you're going to get stuff no matter what. If you're consistent enough, you're going to get results. And that's in anything in life. If you're consistent enough, you're going to get results. You go to those same let's say you got 3 Goodwills that you live by, just regular stores, and you hit those every day, your results will come. Like, you're going to get some stuff.
Yeah.
If you hit it every day and you don't quit and you're consistent, over time you'll get better at it, you'll learn it more, and you'll be the one getting the stuff if you're consistent enough. Just like the bins, like, you're not going to walk in there for 1 hour and expect to go pull rap tees and just it's all fucking fun and get, I mean, it's more about consistency over time will give you better results. And that's the bins. That's with just about anything in life, working out, anything. That's my philosophy. So the longer I spend in the bins, the more days I had a car full of clothes, the more I'm doing trading, the more I'm buying from people at the bins, just the more everything's generating, you know what I mean? It's like, you're just kind of putting out that energy by being there every day.
So now I think, yeah, man, that's a good point. I haven't really thought about it that way. Of course, for you going to the, being consistent, going to the same place and seeing the same guys and people that you network with, daily, that makes a huge difference. Almost like going to an office or something and,
sure,
talking shop about ideas or, like you said, doing the trading and
trading and buying and if somebody else pulls something, if you're not there to buy it, somebody else will buy it pretty much right away because it's its whole little economy in there almost, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole market just within each bins for real.
Yeah.
And it's the same everywhere. I've gone to over 20 bins. Like I've been to so many different bins locations and it's the same thing. Like the more you're at one location, like in Portland, I was there for 2 weeks and I went to the bins like 10 times. 10 days I went to the bins for several hours each day, and that was like supposed to be a vacation, but it's still like I got to end up knowing the kids, doing buyouts, had to buy extra suitcases to fly it all back, you know what I mean? Because I ended up with so much product just from being in the situation. Not that I found that much, I found a good amount, but I've got even more because of the people that I met there and then just networking and you know what I mean? it's more than just there for the pick, but you are there for the pick.
No, that's a good point, because it was the same way with me in Colorado. I mean, I had to buy suitcases to get stuff back, and that was part of it, man. I mean, I met a few people out there, and just kind of from talking to them, being able to get, source from them or whatever they have, and I met one guy out there, and it's funny because he had a cart full of stuff, and he was like, he said, look through that cart, man. He's like, I can't sell this stuff. And I was like, okay. So I looked through it all, and it was some basic stuff. It wasn't anything crazy or high dollar, but I knew as soon as I got it in Lexington, and I've got that pop up at the domestic, I knew as soon as I put it out down there, it would sell, because I mean, it had good content. It was, some of it was like, I think a few of it was like some vintage horse t-shirts and just some kind of stuff like that. And he said, you can't, I'm here all day. He's like, I can't take everything. So I think, I think he had a limited fund, I think he had kind of limited funds, and he was kind of more selective and picking at what he could, because he couldn't sell it quick enough. So for me, networking through that, from that aspect. So I think you make a good point, man. I mean, when you look at it from a business standpoint rather than just sourcing,
right,
I think it makes a lot of sense. So you got, I remember you were talking about buying suitcases and sending that stuff back. Didn't you lose a piece of luggage with a bunch of stuff in it? Did you get it back?
I forgot about that. that was shitty. I got it back the next day, but man, that was scary. I forgot about that. Coming back from Portland.
I remember seeing something like that on your
product.
Yeah, that would be the worst, man. I've lost luggage before and had some nice stuff in it, but if I had a suitcase full of vintage tees, I'd be sick.
And like, here's the thing: is those kids kind of go there every day, and they don't really have the outlets to sell. Like, they just all sell online. There's a couple stores there, but there's no like poppin' vintage store there that they're selling to. You know what I mean? So a lot of them are like throwing back. Like, once I got to know the kids, like, they were just like, you want this? You want this? And it's like champion reverse weave sweatshirts that they're just kind of like, yeah, we got a closet full of them. We don't really sell. We only sell crazy t-shirts, so you can have this. And like, bro, there's some days where I'm like, I'm leaving with like, they gave me several $100s worth of product just because it's not their specific, their thing, or they're just coming across so much that they don't really care about. And then I went to, that got me excited for buying from them. So I was like, damn, they're throwing this shit away. I wonder what they got at the crib.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, that's man, that's what this is all about, is networking and kind of, getting, gaining friendships and getting to know people a little bit better. And that's such a good way to source. Cause I mean, that I've met a lot of the younger people here that go to UK, and they have tons of that stuff, and they're just sitting on it. Like you said, they don't really know how have a way to sell it. And the only people they're really selling to is their buddies in college, and their buddies in college don't want to pay for anything. So,
right.
So it's a good outlet. It's a good point. So what's next for you, man? I mean, what's like let's talk 5 years from now. I know you probably can't, you may not know, but like, what's your passion? Like, what do you want to do? You clearly have a knack for sales and entrepreneurship and things like that.
I don't know. One of my goals for 2020 is to start making music a little bit more, just because that was a hobby of mine that I mean, back in 2012 and 13, I was really pushing it. I went out to LA and produced at Paramount Studios for 2 months because of my music. So it's one of the things that I used to love that I want to get back into. But within the next 5 years, I mean, we're chilling on Vintage Banana right now. Like, it's, it's providing for me and Josh right now. I mean, it's a huge, it's more than just a hobby at this point. It's, a whole career. But, I mean, as long as this will last, we're going to keep up the Vintage Banana, try to expand some, try to make it to where we're making more money. I mean, we've had the online website, which is doing numbers like another store, you know what I mean? So it's like having 2 forms of income possible once everything opens back up. But then just, if we either take that to grow or, growing in some way possible. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, but there's no exact plan yet. You know how it goes. You
kind of have the groundwork already done, man. I mean, like I said, you're good at what you do, and that'll always be there, especially as long as you continue to like learn and get better at that skill set. Selling and is man, it is a super skill. I mean, some people just can't do it. I've noticed that in my throughout my career. I've hired people and worked with people that I'm thinking to myself, you should have picked another career because this is not going to work out for you. But you definitely have it, man, and I know you'll be successful at whatever you do. So talk about your music, man. Do you like to produce? Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I've just been writing music since a young age, like 16 or 17. I started playing piano, and then just really, I've played ever since then. And then I got into Fruity Loops and production and Cubase and Pro Tools, and then just went on into making music for years.
Well, you blew my mind that day, dude. When I saw that story and you were playing the piano, I was kind of pissed. I'll be honest. I was like, what can't this guy do? I knew you'd done some art and things like that, and you were doing the cut and sew, and I was like, damn, this guy. And I think that's it, man. Just having that goal in mind and just focusing on it and saying, I want to learn how to do this, and I want to try to perfect this. And man, that is something that's lost. I mean, a lot of people don't have that drive, and you do, and it shows, man. The banana has been, I mean, it's so cool to kind of see just the progression over the past couple of years with the banana.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, the way you've just kind of created I talk a lot about this, but creating that culture and that environment, man. And you and Josh have done a good job, I think, of creating a place where people want to come. I think in my mind, I think of it as like an old school barber shop where everybody, your day, man, is like, I'm going to roll by the banana for 30 minutes, an hour, hang out, see what everybody's doing, see what's going on.
Holler at the boys.
And so you've created that and the ability to do that. And then I mentioned this with Josh too, man, your all's prices are just so good. And that's the cool thing about it too, because somebody might come in for a $15 t-shirt, but yet there's 2 other t-shirts on the wall that are a little bit higher dollar that really speak to them. And they end up, purchasing those or whatever. But I think that you all do such a good job from a business standpoint of really wanting to, very inviting, wanting to bring people in from that standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Round 2, when they first came out with their YouTube show, that was one of the things that kind of, they were all a lot younger, and Sean did a good job of kind of creating that hype and that excitement, around, what the shoes that they were going to have available, that day.
Here's what's crazy, because that is a huge influence to this whole thing. I've been watching Round 2 since 2015. Like when I was really first starting to get into it, I started watching them, and back then for them, it was just so honest. It was just them in the store and a passion. And that's like we're the stage that I'm still at. I'm still in the store often. I'm still, I'm still the one, in the store. It's pretty much the still basic stuff that you fell in love with at Round 2. I'm there all the time. I'm constantly giving people good price. I make people feel like friends automatically. Like I give somebody a good deal on something. If somebody asks for a better price, or I'll just hook somebody up. And I think there's more value to that. And that's why a lot of people fell in love with Round 2. And then it sort of turned into this big conglomerate type thing. And it's more about a mass popularity now than it is that like hometown love for a spot. Because believe me, when I first started seeing Round 2, I was like, this is the most awesome shit. When they were in the small ass little, the smallest location with all of them there, and like just the conversations between them and the employees and the people the customers was just so good and so honest. Like that's exactly what you would want to sort of be like. And I feel like the Vintage Banana still holds part of that, that honesty. It's like, there's still that true, genuine, just good vibe in that store. Like it's just the spot. I miss it. I was in there the other day, like, man, I wish people could just come in here and talk and say what's up. And like when we first opened, it was like a lot of younger high school kids, like sophomores in high school. They're all in college now, but they're sophomores in high school, and they were the cool kids in their class, and they would always come to the Vintage Banana and hang out. And it was like, they're my homies now because they're 20, I'm 30, we're all adults. But like, they were little kids when they first started coming in there, and it was just like a spot where they felt comfortable. I made them feel comfortable because, I would just, you know, I took like an older brother aspect to like all my customers because I am older than most of them. And it was just like, they were so willing to learn. Nobody else was teaching what I was teaching. And, you know, it was even further than just close too. You know, we talk about life with the kids, you know what I mean? Like, I have real genuine conversations with all these kids. Like, you know, I know their parents, like literally these are my friends now just because of the store. Like most of my real friends, actually my best friends right now, I got introduced to at the store. You know what I mean? That store has brought me so much more than just the clothing side of everything. Like, it's crazy the networking, how many people in Louisville know who I am. I'm not trying to say this in a boastful way at all. Like, how many people come up to me and they know who I am just because of the store, just because maybe I hooked them up one time and gave them $4 off of something. That was a big, you know, that was like, when do you ever go into somewhere and they just give you money off? And that's never. And I was doing that so often to so many people, and I didn't realize it was making such a big impact until, like, there's seriously so many people that know who I am, who I've never even met or realized, and they say, you know, man, I love your store and all, you know what I mean? They'll compliment or say something, or like, you're Max, right? Or you can just tell somebody knows who I am, and it's just like, even my girlfriend now, she's like, in the weirdest times, like, somebody just knows who you are.
Yeah.
We went on a cruise and got off the airport in Miami, and the fucking TSA dude was like, are you the Vintage Plug? I was like, no fucking way, dude. Unreal.
I'm sure it's not just in Louisville, though. I'm sure it's everywhere, man, because like I said, you got a huge following on you know, Instagram and stuff like that, but you are, man. You have that you I don't know, man. You have that comedic approach. You seem I'm sure you get a ton of hate too. I'm sure people blow you up with, like, you know, and because everybody that has is somewhat of an influencer or something like that always gets blowback and people that, you know, talking shit and stuff like that about them. But dude, I met you, I think the first time that I met you face to face was at the Benz, and I knew you kind of from your Instagram and stuff, and I'd seen, you know, different. I'm pretty good at reading people, but man, when I met you at the Benz, you were like such a genuine, nice person, and you know, you could tell that you cared and you wanted to help other people and teach other people and learn, and so, you know, you mentioned how the bananas like that. I agree with you, man. Round two, and I'm not gonna slam because they're good at what they do, and they've got stuff everywhere. They've got stores everywhere now, and they pop. But don't lose that, man, because you and Josh have something that is really cool, and people gravitate to that, and people relate to that so much better. And when let's be real. I mean, we're at the end of the day, we're getting clothes for a pretty good price, and I think the idea is to get them back out in circulation and make people be happy with them. And my philosophy's always been, if I sell you a shirt today and at a good price, and you take it and you enjoy it for a year or so, and then you're like, well, man, I'm tired of this shirt. I don't want it anymore. I don't collect. It's not cool anymore. They'll come back to me and say, hey, man, you want to buy this back? And boom, I buy it back. Sure. And so, I mean, that's what it's about. You know, that's what it's about. And I think I struggle a little bit because, you know, you got your round twos in some of those places that are asking $100 and some for a Carhartt coat. And, you know, we come up on those again. They make a lot of those. You come up on a lot of those, you know, from time to time. But those prices are crazy to me, and people are buying them. Like, they sell out is the crazy part.
Well, they're a company just about business. That's what it's turned into just a business less than a passion. And that's the thing is, this whole business, it starts from passion. You know what I mean? This starts as a hobby or as a passion. It didn't derive from business and the fact that there's money. I mean, maybe it does now, but back in those days, or when a lot of the people that are doing well in this now, when they started, you know, it came from passion. And that's what, you know, it went from them being like a passionate store to them being more just a business, which is not a bad thing. You almost have to move into that. And that's like, many people have told me the same thing, like, don't change the way the banana is. And it's like, it'll have to eventually change. You know, if we ever want to grow, which everything has to grow eventually, nothing can stay the same. You have to grow from it. And that's exactly what Round 2 did. And they did it in the best business way possible. And they did it the smartest way. I mean, they're really an outstanding goal, and they're an outstanding person to look up to because of what they've done as far as taking this hobby and passion that we all share and turning it into this huge business. And really, they're responsible for letting the world, really know about vintage. Like, let's be real here. If it wasn't for round two, there would be a quarter of the amount of vintage people in this world. Like, guaranteed. They were the cause of a lot of it. And it's all through social media, through YouTube. Their YouTube channel alone, which still is like, not like they have millions and millions of views. I mean, they probably have a few million, but they were getting a couple 100,000 views, but it made such an impact, just that honest love that you could see of the originators, just those first couple episodes. Just like, those are the people that really fell in love with that show and, probably led on into the vintage, path that they took. But that round two alone is a crazy ideal.
Dude, you're right. Crazy. That's another good point by you. I mean, you'll have to. I think what I mean by staying the same though for you all is just staying kind of true to who you all are, and you can grow by doing that. But yeah, you're right. And the banana's you're gonna have to grow, because you won't be in business long if you're not. I mean, that's the thing that I've noticed, over the past couple of years is. The trends, man. The trends are they're changing every 3, 4, 5 months. They're changing.
Sooner than that, they're changing every month, man. They're changing. Yeah. It's just the market's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
But it's mainly going up. That's the good thing, is it's mainly going up.
Yeah. No, and I think so
that
too.
You're like, back then it was $200. Now it's shit. It's mainly, that tee used to be $40. Now it's $400.
Yeah. No, you mentioned that about the Grateful Dead tees. I've always, I've tried to find some of the more rare ones, and I got one from the 90s. It's double-sided with the beach. Have you seen that one with like the blue and the beach at the bottom? It's got the bears and it's like.
Is it half skiing? Is the other side snow? One side beach, one side snow?
No, one side's beach, and I've seen that one side's beach, and the other side's like the other part of the beach. So it's like one of those scenes where it goes from the back side all the way to the front side, and like if you were to cut it in half, it would look like a huge beach scene.
Yeah, it'd be one big scene.
Yeah, so I mean, I came up on that shirt probably 6 months ago. Man, I got it for $25, and I bought it because I liked it, And round two's got it now for 200 and something. So, and I'm talking
crazy. 5 months ago.
Not even that. I'm talking, we're in April, May, going into May. So yeah, probably early December, end of November is when I bought that shirt. So, I mean, I think you're right, man. I mean, it's, and you still there?
We're mainly talking about how you got your Grateful Dead shirt for $25.
Yeah.
Are we on?
No, yeah.
I'm talking about, sorry to all the people out there. My phone died because I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in. I didn't see any alerts or nothing, so it wasn't plugged in. But we were on the subject of spent $25 on a Grateful Dead shirt, front and back print, summer all over.
Yeah, no, and so, for me though, I mean, I still got it. I haven't sold it because I bought it for me, not knowing. But now, the value obviously is going to drive up. And, you're right, man. You can't, round two is just going with what the market's telling them to go with.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to me because, I'm not a huge fan of like a Depop or anything like that. I've got a Depop just to get on there and look at people, but I haven't posted anything on there. But it's crazy to me because people, you'll post something and clearly, round two will have the same exact thing for, $120, and you've got it at $50 or $70, and people are still saying, "Hey, man, will you take $45 for it?"
Oh, for sure, it's crazy.
You hate to be kind of a jerk because, like I said, my ultimate goal is, I mean, this isn't my everyday. I'm not feeding my family on this. So for me, it's a hobby and it's fun, and I want to get it out there, man. I want to, you said it a minute ago, man. I want to learn from other people, but I also want to help teach other people and especially younger guys and girls. But the idea is to get it back out there, man, to get it in circulation and just to make somebody happy. But from round two's perspective, I mean, with those guys, I mean, they are feeding their families with it. So I 100% get that. And, you know, you got to have that, you know, you got to have that business mindset, that hustle, because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, I mean, that's what's going to keep you in business.
Sure. I mean, you got to think those guys went from loving vintage clothes to driving Teslas in California. You know what I mean? They really made the dream happen. So, I mean, you can't hate them for that, turning into what they've turned into. That's just what it is. And it just comes back to you saying, you know what I mean, that, you know, everyone loves that honest just vibe of the shop. You know what I mean? Like that, you walk in, it's a place that you feel at home, you feel welcome, you can come into the Vintage Banana anytime. It's easy to shop there. You know, I'm really good at reading people. Like, you know what I mean? If I say hello to people, some people have like that automatic like standoffness. Like you could tell that they feel like they don't want somebody to talk to them while they're shopping because then they feel like they're getting an impression or like trying to get pressured in some sort of way. So I can read that usually right away. You know what I mean? If somebody doesn't want to be talked to, I'll let them be. If somebody wants to be talked to, I give my opinion. I have a lot of conversations with so many people, and just because of the store atmosphere. So one thing I loved about flea markets too is you get that face-to-face interaction with people. And a lot of times it's like-minded people. You know what I mean? We get a few stragglers in the shop that you got to kind of win over. You know, older people that you kind of stumble in there. They don't really get it. And you know, for the most part, though, most people are happy to be in there anyways. Most people are in there. They know what they're in there for, and they're happy to talk to you and purchase something and, you know, get a deal on something. So it's all positivity in the shop for the most part.
Well, I mean, you and Josh are both positive people, and I think very easy to approach and talk to. So that makes it fun too. And that's kind of what I meant by when I said don't lose that, because that, you know, I've been in, you know, I sell to CEOs and physicians and stuff like that all the time of these enormous hospitals. And that's the thing, man. I promised myself early on, and I got a lot of blowback because my personality is not one of, you know, following, you know, I'm not really a suit per se. I don't like corporate America. I don't follow in that cookie cutter type flow. So I kind of always have been the wild card, but I'm never going to change that, man. And you know, I've always approached it that way. Like I'll go in to talk with a CEO, and I'll be straight up honest with them. If it's not going to be a long-term business deal, or we don't have that connection or that trust and that relationship built, or, you know, it's not coming easy, and I think, well, you know, this is not going to be something that's going to be long-term, I'm straight up and honest with them. I'm like, this probably isn't a good business deal for me or you know?
Sure.
And so I think, you know, having that, like you said, reading people and understanding that's part of this. You know, the swap, I think back in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s, you know, I can remember, you know, a lot of the rappers and a lot of them would talk about the swap meets out in California.
Bro, yes. I thought this.
Yes.
They all talked about swap meets, all of them.
Well, you would see, like, you would read into that, and you'd hear about it, or you'd hear somebody tell a story about it. And that's all it was about, man. It was like coming together with friends and family and showing off all your man, and trading and making good.
Trade it, show them. You give the younger people knowledge. You tell them why it's cool. Yeah. Bro, it's all about that trade-off, that exchange of not just a material thing. It's the exchange of that information, the exchange of that experience. Yeah. Like, there's so much more to that, you know, that people really appreciate. I swear. It's just like so much more to vintage clothes than just the little material piece. There's, you know, that's what's cool about it. It's like, you're not going to have an H&M shirt and be like, have any story whatsoever about it. But a vintage piece can have a story to it. Like, you know what I mean? It literally strikes a conversation of, you know, age and wear, and it has a story, and that's what makes it so much more interesting than any other aspect of fashion. Well, really, you can go into any aspect of, you know what I mean, like designer stuff, or like crazy off seasons of things that you probably never even heard of, like, you know, Yohji Yamamoto's spring summer 1998. You know, you would never know about that, but like there's people that are into like the weirdest little details of fashion, which is like what this is. You know, vintage is just like another little lane of just being super detailed into fashion, but it's opening up conversations. Even this right here, you know what I mean? Like, this whole podcast was struck just from networking within this specific genre of fashion. You know what I mean? It's basically what it is, and reselling business. There's two kind of sides to it, the fashion and the business side, but you know, it's just networking between the whole thing. In every aspect, do all of it.
Well, think about that shirt that you have on. I don't know where you got it, but think about who purchased it originally, and where they wore it to, and how they felt, and the things that happened when they were wearing that shirt. I mean, that for me is what is the coolest part about all this, because you don't know, man.
Dude, I'll tell you something crazy. Just to give you a reference, okay, of where you learn, where like this business has led me. I got this shirt. Okay, and this is not even anything really special or specific. It's just cool that we're talking about relationships with people. My girlfriend lives or is from South Jersey. So we were in South Jersey, and I was posting videos like thrifting in there. And I was like, dude, this is shit. Nothing in South Jersey is worth thrifting. And there's a dude, he's like, I live up in Philly. He's like, if you want to drive up here and buy some stuff, it's only like 2 hours away. He's like, I'll sell you some stuff. He's like, I've been watching your Instagram for forever, you know what I mean? Like, basically somebody who'd just been following my Instagram for forever. And he was like, dude, come on through my house. I feel like I know who you are already, you know what I mean? So when I showed up, he already knew my face and everything from just following my Instagram. So he was comfortable enough to let me just come to his house. And he ended up having this shirt, you know what I mean? I bought it off him for whatever, 60 or 80 bucks. Yeah. But, you know, I bought a huge amount from this dude. And it was just random that he knew who I was from Instagram. And he's out in a place where I just was across the map, you know what I mean? Up in Jersey, and a person who's like-minded, you know, and knows me just from Instagram, you know, was able to start a relationship or a friendship, you know what I mean? Was able to start a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Which is a business relationship, you know what I mean? It's just crazy that
so
that led to that from that far away.
So let me tell a quick story based on what you just said. We're talking about like just starting a conversation and meeting somebody. So I had this trash can, dude, as a kid, and of course I'm a big Kentucky fan. I think you're a Louisville fan, right? You're a big U of L fan?
No, not really.
So
I'm not a huge fan. I'm a fan of colors, anyways. But
yeah, so I had this, dude. I had this as a kid, and my brother and I had it, and I don't know where it went, but I saw a guy on Facebook Marketplace, and he had all this Kentucky. It was like a picture of like. It was a room. It was an insane room of Kentucky memorabilia. And I saw that trash can, and I was like, I got to have that trash can. So I just reached out to him, and he was an older guy. And so he's like, man, come take a look. I still have the trash can. So I went over there, and I bought that trash can from him. And I think I bought like one or two other things. And we got to just kind of, I bought this from him too, dude. This is, like I said, I collect a lot of Kentucky stuff, but so I bought this off of him, and this is from the 50s, and it's like it was like a rug or like a wall hanging, but it was based on like it's got the you know, the corn mash, the bourbon, and then at the end, you know, he's showing the guy was telling the hand on
fuck off thing,
the FU. So they did that. Kentucky did that basically to kind of towards the SEC, and so I grabbed that from him. But we just started, you know, talking, and he was an old dude. Come to find out, he went to the same college that I did. And so he was like, you know, in the 70s. And he was like telling me all these stories and everything. And he was like, man, he was he loved the Doobie Brothers and Grateful Dead. So he was like talking about his shirt collection and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, you know, I sold T-shirts. He goes, I used to travel all over and sell T-shirts at rock concerts. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. So he was telling me this whole story. And so we kind of talked, and I was like, do you still have like He's like, dude, I have an enormous collection of T-shirts. And I said, okay, man. Well, I said, he said, but I'm not ready to sell them. I'm not ready to. And he was moving to South Carolina. And I said, okay, well, just hit me up when you're ready, man. And 3 weeks later, I'm not kidding you, Max. 3 weeks later, he reached out to me and said, hey, come take a look at my concert T-shirts. I think I'm ready to sell them. And, dude, so, like, just to give you a quick example of, you know, some things that were in it, like, just for instance, like this, talk about telling a story. Dude, this is original 1975 or 77 tour Pink Floyd T-shirt. It's just one of the many ones. Original, like this T-shirt was in here from '85. This original Farm Aid T-shirt with like, I mean,
Huh?
and
I've never even seen that.
yeah,
Farm Aid.
it's the '85. It's original, and it's got all the look. I mean, the artists on the back are just insane. I mean, any artist you can imagine from that period. And then I got original Bob Dylan. I think the Bob Dylan, but of course there was all together, man. There was like 30 something, band tees. And he was like, well, he's like, what? I was like, man, just give me a price. I was like, I want to be fair to you. I don't know, I obviously I want some of these for my personal, but then I'll resell some of them. And he just threw out a number, and he was like, well, you just throw out a number to me. And I said, well, man, I tell you what, how's $350 sound? And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, absolutely. So, and then he threw like, on top of that, he threw like 5 more T-shirts in. Like
he starts throwing them at you? Yeah.
82 Celtics champs, 78 Super Bowl. I mean, he just threw them all in for free. And I was like, so at the end of it all, so I mean, I come out with like 37 tees, I think. And that would have never happened. You know what I mean? If I hadn't have just kind of really broken bread with him.
Just sparked the conversation.
Started talking to him. And it's funny, dude, because he moved to South Carolina and we still communicate. Because he has a stack of Grateful Dead and Doobie Brothers tees. And when he's ready, because he's like, I don't have any children, I don't have any grandkids, anything like that. And I said, well, when you're ready to let go of them, hit me up and I'll come get them for sure. But that's the thing, man. Just starting that conversation, you just don't know what other people have, or
or what information they have. Even like anytime, I swear, because I just had a guy that I did a buyout from as soon as this quarantine started. I got a buyout of very similar.
You there?
Yeah, sorry, I got a call. But yeah, as soon as this quarantine started, I got a buyout that was very simple.
You get another call?
Here we go. Sorry, I got a call.
No.
But anyways, so the dude, where was that?
You were doing a buyout.
Dude calls me originally about, and he heard about me from Instagram, actually from his son. Heard about me from Instagram. He was like, my dad's got a bunch of stuff he's willing to part with. And he sent me a picture of a Jordan jersey and a Jordan t-shirt. Sorry, Rodman jersey and a Rodman t-shirt. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go out there. When I get out there, this man has like band tees like out the ass. Like literally probably 50, 60 band tees like on a pool table. But when I get there, this man has a fucking indoor basketball court built in his backyard. Like he lives way out Indiana. I had to drive like 2 hours to get there. This man has a full indoor basketball court. All of the craziest Bulls posters and Nike posters laminated on the tall walls of the basketball, because it's like high, like 40-foot ceilings in there. Then he's got like a rec room with a pinball machine and a pool table. He's got all the t-shirts laid out. And, I just was asking about his life, like everything that I could have asked about this man. Like, how did he come to this point where he's building a basketball court in his backyard? Like, I was more interested in how this man got to this point of having all these t-shirts, was asking about all the concerts. Like, man, I soaked up as much information about that dude as I possibly could, just because it was so interesting. Not because I was interested in the shirts. Of course, the shirts were really cool, but for somebody who's gotten to that point, it's so interesting to hear their story and just to like really get to hear about them. Like literally, I was just asking as much as I could. And he ended up enjoying his time with me. I stayed there for several hours because I was just talking to him.
Yeah, that's the same way with me, man. I ended up hanging out with this guy for about an hour, and he was playing. He had like because I'm into music, but he had like live concerts of the Dead and Doobie Brothers and stuff like that nobody else has. Like, it was like live recordings of it. So it was kind of cool to talk to him and talk about all that. And of course, he'd met so many different people along the way because he was selling T-shirts for these people, and then he'd get to go backstage and hang out, him and his buddy.
Have crazy experiences.
Oh, it was nuts, man. He told some really good stories.
See, like that exactly right there. That's not just buying a t-shirt. Like that right there is so sick that you get those backstories of someone who really went to all these shows and did the shit. Like that's insane.
Yeah, and
you don't get that when you buy something online. Like you got that story and that experience, and now that's this story that you're telling of the experience with this person. Like that is worth way more than just a t-shirt.
But I agree. I love, and that's what I feed off of. I love the like meeting people, but then for me, I've not sold one T-shirt I bought off of it. So for me, the struggle is like I don't want to let go. Like I mean, then it becomes because there is a story behind it, and I know where it came from. I know the person who bought it brand new or took it from whatever.
Or you have attachment to it now.
So now I have somewhat of an attachment to it. So I struggle a little bit with that, and I'm getting better because I mean some of them just aren't my size, and I just need to kind of probably let them go. But there were three like extremely like early '80s Rolling Stones. That's one of them, the Rolling Stones tees, and it's like I'm not going to let go of those. Like now there was like a Merle Haggard and Jerry Jeff Walker, and see that's kind of I like a lot of the old country, and that's kind of I like that, but they don't fit me. I'm gonna let them go. But like that '85 Farm Aid, I'm not gonna let it go because you're not gonna see it again. You can find the reprint all day, but you cannot find the original of a lot of that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
So, well, man, listen, we're already in almost going on 2 hours, which is awesome. I have to talk for days with you, but so what I'll probably do is I'll probably split this up into part 1 and part 2, man, if you're cool with that. Or they'll release part 1 one week and then part 2 the next, so people can enjoy it and take it in. But one of the things I've been doing at the end of everything is in the 80s and 90s, those cartoons used to give PSAs, the G.I. Joe and the He-Man, and growing up as a kid, I can remember seeing those and thinking, it somewhat resonated with me, and it was kind of cool to take something away at the end of each episode. What, for you, man, what would your PSA be to, I mean, it doesn't have to be to the vintage industry or young kids or anything. It could just be to the world now with what's going on and all that. What would Max's PSA be?
Public service announcement is be good to people. No matter what, it doesn't matter who they are, what they believe in, any fucking bullshit. What you believe in doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Just treat everyone good. That's it. That's the only rule in life. You shouldn't believe in any religion. You shouldn't believe in any fucking one belief. One thing is nothing is one certain way. Just be good to people. No matter anything. People are people, man. Just be good to them. That's all you got is the people around you. That's it.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot. That's so true too, man. I mean, and it's gonna, as you can tell, and as you know, just from what you do. I mean, treating people with respect and being good to people, and that goes a lot further than being a jerk and trying to be somebody.
Anything further than money goes further than anything you could possibly hold materialistic. It's being good to people. I'm telling you, it'll take you further than any materialistic thing will ever take you.
I love it, man. I love it, brother. Well, listen, hey, I won't keep you any longer, man. I know you got people blowing you up. Your girl's probably calling you like, where are you? What are you doing? But listen, man, I really do appreciate it. And you are a voice out there, man, whether you think so or not. You're, I know you and Jack are friends, but I've listened to Jack's music for a long time. And, I'm a huge hip hop guy too. It's funny. I don't like a lot of newer hip hop. I'm a kind of an old hip hop guy, but I love Jack, and that's probably because I resonate with some of the stuff he says, being from Kentucky. But right. I heard his interview, man, on Kentucky Sports Radio, and the dude, he killed it, man. He killed it, and it shows that he cares a lot about the state of Kentucky and the city of Louisville. And where I'm going with this is that I feel the same about you, man. You've been an inspiration for a lot of young kids, especially, and older kids, in this vintage scene, especially here in Kentucky. And you and Josh are both doing a great job. Keep it up, man. Keep doing the videos. They're fun. And I think that's what it's supposed to be about, having fun and just enjoying your life and making it fun for everybody else. So keep
That's
doing
what it's
that.
all about.
Yeah.
You'll be happier keeping other people happy, man. Just be good to people, and life will be good to you. And that's it.
I agree. Well, man, I appreciate it. I really do. And so I hope everybody enjoyed episode 8, part 2 of my interview with Max, the Vintage Plug. His PSA was spot on, and I absolutely love it. I mean, just be good to other people. It's that simple. Treat others the way that you would want to be treated. That's my challenge to you all over the next couple weeks. As we get back out in public and things start to open up, be as nice as you possibly can to the people around you, no matter the situation. So I'm excited about the next couple months. We've got a lot of good stuff planned. We're going to be doing some live interviews. We're going to be doing some shop drops. And coming, I think, this Friday, I'm going to bring to you all our first 5-Minute Friday. So I hope everybody's happy and healthy. If you haven't gone to our YouTube channel, go to our YouTube channel, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify Podcasts, hit subscribe, and leave us a good or bad review. You pick. So I'll see everybody next week. What's your favorite movie?
Man, I don't even watch movies like that. My favorite movie, probably Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. Favorite artist, band, whatever. Rapper?
Right now it's Jack Harlow. I just keep on moving.
Yeah. He just released a new one today?
Honestly, right now he's what I listen to the most, Jack Harlow.
Yeah, I saw the one he released today. I guess he hadn't released it, but I guess it's just kind of a snippet that he put out there.
Yeah, he just released one like literally right before this, like probably 30 minutes before this conversation started.
I saw the video like with all the different people in it. P. Diddy, everybody was in.
Man,
it's crazy. He's definitely popping off for sure.
It's wild.
What's your favorite food?
Vegetable soup. I swear to God, I have like a crazy love for it.
That's a first. What about what's your favorite? What's your favorite thing to do outside of sourcing, thrifting, things like that?
Everything else, sewing, fucking just being creative.
Cool. Celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush? I don't know any. I don't think I have any.
You gotta have somebody.
Brad Pitt is my celebrity crush.
Who?
Brad Pitt.
Dude, that was hey, that's the most 90s thing ever. Everybody'd be like, who do you think?
I was literally looking at pictures of him yesterday. I was like, I want to be him in the 90s so bad. Somebody was posting all these pictures of him. I was like, God, I want to be that.
Everybody'd be like, you try to like look good and cool and everything. And in the 90s, everybody like, who do you think you are? Brad Pitt? And it's like now you say that and he's like some old dude.
That's still me, man. I still want to be Brad Pitt.
I love it, dude. I love it. Grow your hair out, man. Legends of Fall style.
Dude, middle part, back, dude, just fucking chisel that jawline. That's my crush.
I love it, brother. I love it. Listen, man, thank you. I appreciate it. And we'll catch up here soon, okay?
Absolutely. It was good. Pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, you
What's
too.
up?
Man. I appreciate it.
My guy. Enjoy your day.
You too.